is how to start a concrete business with very little money in under 1 minute. Step 1, license and insurance. Easiest thing to do is email 5 local insurance providers and pick one that you like the best. Step 2 is marketing. If you're starting out and don't have a lot of money, then you're going to have to put in some sweat equity. Use ChatGPT to design a great looking brochure, get it printed, and go door-to-door selling. Step 3, start to sell jobs at a slightly more than market price and book them out at least a month in advance. Step 4, find good local concrete contractors who are good at concrete but suck at marketing and they need more work. These type of contractors make the perfect subs because they tend to be cheaper than other contractors but still have a high quality product. They also already own their own equipment, so you don't have to buy any equipment yourself. Step 5, line up your favorite subcontractor to complete the work, project manage them, and learn as much as you can in the process. Step 6, rinse and repeat to get more money, reinvest this money back in online marketing like Facebook, Google, and a solid website. Step 7 is your lead flow increases, then start increasing your pricing to increase your profitability, leverage one job into multiple, and start stacking up a ton of 5-star reviews. Step 8, leave any questions you have down below and follow this page for more concrete business tips and tricks.
3 house foundations you must choose from, or they'll do it for you. Number 1, crawl space. Choose this if you want access to the plumbing and electrical under the house. It gives a nice elevated appearance from the outside, and it's least prone to flooding. You'll have a storage area under the house if the space is large enough, and it'll be easier on your knees, joints, and feet compared to a slab. Some of the downsides of a crawl space, you'll have to address possible moisture and pest concerns, and the best way to do this is by encapsulating the crawl space, essentially sealing it off so moist air or critters can't get in there. It's possibly the least efficient foundation because the entire floor requires insulation. They can also sound hollow, and that's not terribly noticeable until the kitchen. Number 2, slab. Choose this if you want a solid feeling under your feet. You'll have less moisture and mold issues, and it'll significantly reduce any pest problems. And it's a bit more energy efficient than a crawl space. Some of the downsides, you'll have no access to plumbing drain lines in the future because they're buried in the concrete. Renovations and repairs are limited if you need to do any plumbing or wiring in the floor. I've also heard about previous homeowners of the slab complaining about knee joint. Another issue is a slab can crack or shift with ground movement. You know what they say, there's 2 types of concrete. Concrete that is cracked and concrete that will crack. And number 3, basement. Choose this if you can fork over the extra cheddar. It's more expensive, but it offers the most benefit. You'll have the option to finish the basement and turn it into a living space that'll also increase the home value. Another perk is sometimes you have a sloped lot. This is ideal for a walkout basement. This might require a retaining wall on each side of the house, but it's a great way to turn a not so buildable lot into a perfect fit. And finally, you'll have a somewhat decent place to turn to if the weather gets bad. It beats hiding in the bathtub. So the biggest downsides of a basement is cost and waterproofing. They're significantly more expensive for obvious reasons. You're practically building an entire separate level of the home. And moisture issues, these can be drastically reduced with proper waterproofing.
If you need to split this board in half, but you're not good enough at math to tell me what 7 1/8 divided by 2 is, swing off your pivot point up here out until you have a common number here that's easily divisible, such as 8. Go ahead and mark half of it, which is 4. You have 3 9/16 here, and you have 3 9/16 there. Perfectly split. Let's say you want this 7 1/8 to be 3 equal pieces. Swing it out to something divisible by 3, which is 9. Go ahead and mark 3. 6, you end up with 2 7/16, 2 7/16, and this in here will be 2 7/16. So then you have 1, 2, 3 equal pieces. Let me show you how to get perfect corners on your fascia board every single time. I've got this little mock piece up on the wall here. I'm going to show you guys how to tie this into whatever rake it is you're working with. We're going to take our crescent tools square here and mark all the way across there at a 6 and 12. Go ahead and set your saw to a 45. Only do this with a Diablo blade. Now you've got your 45 on a 6 and 12. If we put this up here and line up the outside, we can see that that works out perfect, but we've got this little tail sticking down at the bottom. So we've got our cut here. We're gonna take a square piece of cut off and just line up the very, very top there, which is gonna be the outside corner. We're gonna go ahead and mark the bottom here. Now what that's gonna do is when we line up that top corner again, just like so, the bottom is perfect. Look at that, it's beautiful. Just a little fun one for you on a Friday.
Oh no.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Whoa, 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 get over it.
Oh no.
Have you guys ever wondered why we build with nails majority of the time and not screws? Here's the reason why. Under pressure, when a building moves, the fastener needs to rack with it. Screws, when they move, they break. With a nail, You can hit it back and forth as many times as you want. It'll take a lot for that nail to break. And that's the difference. Screws will shear, nails will bend. That's why we build homes with nails rather than screws. If you're ever confused on what the roof pitch is that you're working on, take your square with that pivot point that we noted and put it as close to plumb as you can get it. Throw your torpedo up against the side of it, and you can see once it's plumb that we're on that 3 and 12. You'll look through the square, off of that pivot point, make sure that's all the way down, and whatever this lines up with, inside of there, that's the pitch of the roof. So with our square on our pivot point, you can see the material perfectly through there at the 3 and 12 mark. So if you don't know what the roof pitch is, you can always do this.